Welcome back to TC Talk Sports. If you don't know by now, I'm doing a preview for every single team in the NBA. I know the regular season has already started, but it's still early in the season, so I'm going to tell you what you need to know about every team in the league. Just got a haircut. I'm feeling good, so let's get into it. Obviously, by the awesome thumbnail, you know this video is about the Cleveland Cavaliers, but before I start to talk about them, make sure you hit that subscribe button on this channel. Go follow the TC Talk Sports TikTok page. I have a lot of content every single day on this channel and that TikTok page. Follow, please, just do it. The Cleveland Cavaliers, one of the more interesting teams going into this season. Last season, a very good year for the Cavs. They won 48-34. That was fourth in the East. They beat the Orlando Magic in that awesome 7-game series in the first round of the Eastern Conference playoffs, and then ended up losing in 5 games to the Boston Celtics because the Celtics are just way too good for everybody else last year. Offensively, not a great year for the Cavs, more known for their defense. They scored 112.6 points per game. That was 20th in the league. They were 8th in team assists. Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, fantastic ball handlers. But the defense is what really helped this team be as good as they were last year. Gave up 110.2 points per game, 7th best in the entire NBA, and they held opponents to 46.3% field goal percentage, 6th best in the league, so top 10 in points allowed and field goal percentage. Set them up for what I think was a really good year for the Cavs last year. They pretty much returned everybody they had on that team last year, led by Donovan Mitchell. He got hurt at times last year. He was only limited to 55 games, but he ended up scoring 26.6 points per game, set a career high with 6.1 assists, and also set a career high with 5.1 rebounds. Low-key is a really good defensive player coming out of Louisville 5-6 years ago, whatever. He's one of the best players in college basketball, known for his offense, but he's also a great on-ball defender. Set a career high with 1.8 steals last year. He was playing as an MVP caliber player for most of the year last year until he got hurt and he had to miss certain stretches of games. I had a couple bets with him as the MVP at plus 10,000 odds. Thought it looked really good. He ended up not being eligible for the award because how many games he did actually miss, and I think he's going to be playing at an MVP level this year again. They're going to be one of the better teams in the East, so we know the team's going to be good. If he puts up those numbers, makes a lot of clutch shots. If you don't think he was playing at an MVP level last year, you're crazy. He's going to carry that over to this year. I'm positive about that. He's going to have a tough chance to win just because there's so many talented guys in the league, but Donovan Mitchell is going to be really good this year. Mark my words. Darius Garland, not really a surprise performance from him last year, but he proved to be a very good, I'll confidently say a very good point guard last year. 18 points per game. He started shooting the three a little more, shot 37.1% from three, and as I mentioned earlier, a fantastic ball handler, dished out 6.5 assists per game. There was many games last year where he had double-doubles with points and assists, or he had double-digit assist numbers, and that's just going to continue this year. He's just getting better and better every year. He's the main ball handler for this team. That starting five is great. I'll say great. If you disagree, you're nuts. He's going to be a key piece for this team going forward, along with their center, Jared Allen, who he's also just getting better and better every year, and eventually we're going to talk about him as one of the best centers in the league if people aren't already kind of labeling him as that. He averaged 16.5 points per game last year, a career high in scoring, also brought in a career high 10.5 rebounds per game, and just like Donovan Mitchell, Jared Allen, also a really good defender, but obviously more in the paint, averaging 1.1 blocks per game, 6'10", 6'11", super athletic, a good rim protector, and that's what every team needs, really, and he's really found his role kind of perfectly with this Cavs team the last couple years. 42 double-doubles last year for him, and they have a fantastic front court along with the young Evan Mobley. Now coming into his 4th year, he also missed a bunch of time last year, only played 50 games, but he averaged 15.7 points per game, shot 37% from three. He's 6'11". He can do it all. He's a little on the skinnier side, but he has a huge wingspan. He can dribble, pass, obviously shoot the three. Pulled in 9.4 rebounds, 3.2 assists, as I mentioned. A good ball handler. There's times where he brings the ball up the floor or they're confident in him to run that half-court offense. 1.4 blocks per game, 0.9 steals per game. Him and Jared Allen one of the best front courts in the East, and definitely one of the best front courts in the entire NBA. Just two 7-footers that can block shots, score in the paint. Evan Mobley, a little more versatile than Jared Allen, especially on the offensive side, but this starting five is really good, and the Cavs are a sneaky, very good team. In the offseason for the Cavs, they fired their head coach, JB Bickerstaff, who is now with the Pistons, which I think is a fantastic move for Detroit. I'll get into that in my full Detroit Pistons preview that will be up on this channel as well. Replace him with Kenny Atkinson. He was the Nets head coach from 2016 to 2020, and he served as an assistant coach for the Golden State Warriors from 2021 to 2024. He's now in charge of the Cavs. As of recording this video today, the Cavaliers are undefeated so far this year. I think they just went to 5-0 after the blowout win versus the Lakers. But as of right now, me in this present time, Cavs undefeated, one of the best teams in the league. Cavs also had the 20th overall draft pick in this year's draft, taking Jalen Tyson out of California. Casual basketball fans probably aren't too aware or very familiar with Tyson. He did lead the Pac-12 in scoring with 19.6 points per game. Overall, he's just a versatile wing player. He can shoot, he can score. I think in order for him to have a good NBA career, he's going to have to be more consistent on the offensive side, which we saw in college last year, but NBA is a whole new game, and I think it's going to take him a couple years to adjust to it. I don't think he's going to make an impact right away. Also, as of now, this recording of this video, he hasn't had a lot of playing time so far in this 2025 season, but took him 20th overall. Definitely some upside with Jalen Tyson out of California. So we'll check back in a couple years, see what kind of improvements he made, because I definitely think he has room to grow and could eventually be a solid role player, rotation player in the NBA. My player to watch is Ty Jerome. He's now in his 6th year in the NBA. Most people know him from his time at the University of Virginia. It's a 6th year in the league, playing on his 4th different team. In his career, not big numbers, 7.1 points per game, 2.6 assists per game, but he's a smart ball handler. He's safe with the ball, doesn't turn it over too much. We saw that in Virginia when obviously he was the starting guard for a couple of those teams. A good on-ball defender, obviously playing at Virginia where they just preach defense all the time. I think in order for him to have a real impact in the NBA, he just needs to be a better scorer because he's not like freakishly athletic or crazy height or strong or any of that stuff. The intangibles, I guess you could call it. But I think he'll get some minutes off the bench for the Cavs this year, backing up Mitchell and Garland. They have a couple other guys they could throw in, like Sam Merrill and Craig Porter Jr., who I also think is going to be a good player. We saw it when he had opportunities last year in the Summer League, G League, wherever he was at. He played well, but specifically, watch out for Ty Jerome this year. I think he'll average maybe like 15 minutes a game. He's just going to be a solid guy off the bench for the Cavs. Nothing crazy, but definitely at the end of the year, we're going to look back and say, Ty Jerome had a good year. My prediction for the Cleveland Cavaliers, this one a little bit tricky, but I mentioned it earlier, they are a sneaky good team. I feel like a lot of people, a lot of those experts out there, not talking so highly about the Cleveland Cavaliers. They might be now that the season has started, but coming into the year, I knew they would be good. The same starting five as last year. They kind of rotate Okoro and Dean Wade in and out of there. George Niang off the bench might start or something, but Cavs are definitely going to make the playoffs. Obviously, there's no doubt about that. I think they could finish as high as 2nd, maybe 3rd in the Eastern Conference. I don't think they'll go lower than 4th. They're not going to be a play-in team. They'll be in that top 6. Don't think they're going to be number 1 because that's going to belong to Boston pretty much all year long. Don't be surprised if you see the Cleveland Cavaliers as that 2 seed once the playoffs approach, but right now I'm going to say they're going to finish 2nd or 3rd in the East and low-key have a very good shot at winning the championship in 2025.